which is like our ultimate goal here after you get a degree. And I'm just going to speak a little bit about that, and please feel free to jump in at any point. I also just gotten my bachelor's degree, and the job application, I would say to anyone here, do not give up. I mean, a lot of us tend to be stuck with the idea of like, okay, I can just go ahead and do taxi, I can work at McDonald's, I can do this, you can do that. But you also need to keep in mind that you are from Africa, and the education that you're getting here can help us, help your people back home someday. So in order for me to, I guess, get to the job where I'm at now, I took a few internships while I was still in college. And it's not because I guess, went to high school here. I guess it's because I was willing to do it, because I still have people who were born here who didn't go for these opportunities. So it's good to always strive for it, go for internships, fellowship, anything that's in your field that can help you in the future. And so once you have that, I did a couple ones with UNICEF, the International Rescue Committee, and now I'm ending up at Amnesty International. So I would advise every African here who's either coming with a degree or just getting their first degree here to make sure they keep in mind that it's good to have some kind of training before they finish school. Not only does it help you with your application when you want to go to grad school, but it also helps you secure a very good job here, which you can transfer back home. I'll give the floor to our host here.
Okay, thank you very much, my co-host Rugiato, for sharing your experience, also how you get through and until you get your degrees. So basically, everybody on this panel have a degree. Now, after getting so much through until you get to this point, I'm saying about the tribulation or the sacrifice you have done. Every effort you put is for a goal. I know the tunnel has been too long, and you can see a light. What is the light for you after you have gotten your degrees?
So to answer your question, my own expectation for myself, when I'm done with my bachelor's, I know for sure that I either want to go get my master's or go into medical school. And not just me, but for any college student or high school student, you always have multiple opportunities and different paths you can take. You can either, you can continue to go on to your bachelor's and then get your master's and even get your PhD, or you can, and during that time you can do internships to figure out what it is that you want to do. You can take on different jobs while you're in school just to figure out what it is that you want to do and what you're comfortable with. And then you can later on see how your job or your education can benefit your community or benefit the world and how you can help the world out. And I had out of curiosity, I wanted to ask you, you said that you went to school in Liberia and you got your bachelor's there. So when you came here, did you look for a job or did you try to apply for different jobs using your bachelor's?
Thank you again. Thank you for asking that excellent question. And when I left Liberia, when I came here, I was not really looking for a job at the time because I wanted to set myself up right before going off a job and all the stuff. But however, I did look for a job. You know, it's a slogan in America. You can't live here without working. So I did look for a job, but I couldn't look for a job in my field. I just looked for a normal job, just to work and make that money. So in some places, I don't even want to identify myself as somebody who got bachelor's. No, I don't want to do that. I just want to identify myself as a normal person, somebody that even never been to school or probably just graduated from high school and just work at the time. And in doing that, I think Profana just asked a question about our expectations. So they just say, you know, go to school and graduating from school, having a bachelor's, your master, your PhD, it's a phenomenal job. It's very fantastic. But the most important thing has to do with, you know, human. Sometimes you get a degree, go and engage in a room. It will be there for years, it doesn't do anything. But the most important thing in our community has to do with, after getting a degree, what can you do in the community? That's the question I always ask myself. What can I do in the community? What can I do for other people to learn from it? What can I do that will benefit the people around it? Because when I came here, in fact, I was so bored to the extent because I'm always in the community. I have my own tutoring classes, especially mathematics. My tutoring classes were comprised of a lot of African kids. I taught them how to do math, I taught them how to do so many things. So the only thing that made me to stop because I had a job and I have to take care of my expenses and I have to leave. So not only my tutoring classes, I have always been in the community. Even in the process where the hurricane took place in New York, I went to all the boroughs that were affected by the hurricane. In doing so, I met the police commissioner at the time, Kelly, and he was very great. He was very proud of me. And he told me that I should keep it right. He gave me a lot of words of encouragement. I think that's what the community is all about. And besides, I have always been in the community, not only having a degree. I need to associate myself, I need to interact with people in the community. I have to show the kids how important community are. Understand? So my degree is not only hanging in the room, it's also on my arms everywhere I go. I have to share with everybody, not only telling by words that I got a degree, but by my action, by my physical doing. So that's how it is.
Ibrahim?
We all know that, I think, I'm not sure if I'm off the topic, by saying, but the little difference or major difference between, United States and the country we're from, because I have spoken to many, of our brothers, who, come from Africa. When they come to the United States, those people that, educated, some from Liberia, Senegal, other countries. So I asked them a question. I say, okay, you're educated, you have your master's degree, why can't you stay back home and then, do something good for society and then use your education? They would say, you know what, back home, if I stay there, it's going to be tough for me to find a job, so I resolved to have to come to the United States, and then I would apply that in here. I would make more money, and then, life would be more easier for me. So I think, it's time for us to wake up right now, even when you come to the United States and, when you use those, from students and then people who come from there and they went to school here, they graduated, we just have to use those education to help the people back home, for better good. My own, story, just like I said beginning, I remember, when I, because I did not do that many years in college. I only did 2 years because I had family and the other thing came in, and then that prevented me from going further. But right now I'm a fire safety director, one of the buildings in Manhattan. I manage the buildings. I'm also the assistant manager of that building. If it wasn't my education, I wouldn't be able to do that job. And then in order to have that job, you have to go through 4 different exams. And the final exam, and then when you have that, then they will grant you the license, and then you become certified to run that buildings. So it took education for me. I believe if it wasn't that, there's no way I could make that. So regardless how much little education or big education you have, if you combine that with the effort and the determination that you want to do something better for the people who hasn't graduated yet, my encouragement to you, there's no regret. This country, the sky is the limit, You can go as far, as much you want, as long you believe in what you're doing, and then you put yourself into it. And then I am encouraging every single African student here, please, take initiative and go forward. That's my message. Thank you.
To add what Ibrahim just said, said it very great. And there's a perceptions we that live in Africa and go to school in Africa that always get at the back of our mind. And the perception has to do with when you don't come to America, if you doesn't come to the Western world to get your education, you can never be important in the society. That's just a negative perception. When I went to high school, graduated high school, started getting in college because I played basketball when I was in high school. My basketball took me to college. So when I got to college, I had a couple of jobs that were offered to me that would really benefit me at the time. I had a job at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Liberia, where I even worked. I was employed, and I had almost everything someone that lived up here who had. You understand? So those perceptions have tarnished the mind of a lot of green kids in Liberia or any part of Africa that in fact I'm not going to school until I reach to the Western world. So we just have to let people know out there you can live anywhere and be the best you can be. You can live anywhere to do what you think you can do. You can become anybody you want to be in life. So you don't have to come to the Western world. You don't have to even migrate from Western where you are to another place. You can stay where you are to be who you want to be. I just want to get a message out there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Siddiqui. That was very inspirational. And we're going to move forward now and ask our next question. I mean, right now in the U.S., the very big thing with education is that our presidents are trying to make a 2-year college free. And you have mentioned to us that you only did a 2 years college. And perhaps if that was free at the time that you did it, you might have wanted to move further with your education, because then you wouldn't have had to pay for the first 2 years. All you would have to pay was for the next 2 years to get your bachelor's. So what difference would that have made for you in terms of furthering your education?
I think it would make a big difference, because at the end of the day, it comes down to money. Right now, I'm a family person, and with one child, and then paying the rents, taking care of the family. On top of that, we all know the college is very expensive.
It is.
But giving those 2 years, whatever money that I'm supposed to put in that college, I still can save that money, and then I will attend without for me paying that money out of my pockets. I think if that law pass, it will help me, a person like me, to take the opportunity and then go back to school and then learn something that I really want to be.
And it's also very important, right, because we have a lot of people who come from Africa who do not yet speak the language, and they're already finished with high school there. And so when they come, the first place they go to is a 2-year college. When I finished with my high school, one of my professors, my teacher said to me in high school that I should go for a 2 years college, but I told them that I already have the English, so I don't think I should do that. And so I went for a 4-year college. But a lot of Africans, as we know, attend 2-year colleges here. And it's very expensive. At times, I have friends who go to a 2-year college and their tuition is higher than myself, than what I'm paying at my 4-year college. So it's very expensive, and I couldn't understand them. I just asked them, how is it that your tuition for a 2-year college is much more expensive than mine for a 4-year college? At the end of the day, you still have to come back to that 4 years college again to get your bachelor's degree. So it's a very important thing, and let's hope that it gets passed so that more of our African brothers and sisters will come and, I guess, start with their 2 years and hopefully move forward with it. And most importantly, once we have these skills, because at the end of the day, we still need to think about Mother Africa, right? So once we have these skills, it's very important that we go back. It doesn't matter if we're going to go to medical school, grad school, find a job, or even start our own business here. What's more important is what are we going to do with the skills? And Siddiqui here mentioned that he was very involved with the community here in the US. And so we can also find ways to get involved in our communities from back home, right? We now have the opportunity to travel back and forth. And for those who do, if they do, we urge that we go back home and use those skills and I guess improve the lives of people back home.
I think speaking on community, just like you said, it's important to, after we finish the school and go back and help, our community we left behind. But it's also, I think, is important for the community we have here, because now, I mean, for the last 10 years, African population, has increased, steadily. So, I think, we need a leadership or organization like, this kind of, place, we have here. We need many of those, places to help, next generations for, because, in order to help the, even the student who was born here, and in order for them to, follow the education, their father and mother have to get help. If the mother and father are suffering, I mean, it's tough for that student to, advance and forward in their education, including, the next generations, African that will, come to the country. So if they see, the people who standing, at the leadership position, helping those people, it would make their life, a little bit more easier.
Sure, that's
So
absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
Yeah, I think you guys have said it very excellent. It makes a lot of sense. Looking at how she asked the question earlier, the bill that going to be passed for the associate program. Excellent job. The mindset and the mentality of a lot of Africans is that every time you arrive in the United States, the person that's going to host you, everything that person does, that's what you're going to do. If that person is a cab driver, you're going to be a cab driver. If that person is a student, you're going to be a student. But these are some of the difficulties we find in our community. But however, I personally, with some other excellent Africans, we have come up with certain organizations. With those organizations, we are trying to help Africans in the diaspora, not only in Africa. We're not basing about Africa right now. African in the diaspora, and I'm going to comprise of helping you out with your application process. Even if you doesn't have documents, we can still manage your board in school. We want to create this avenue for every African. So coming up with the president or trying to pass the associate programs, that's going to be a tremendous job. That's going to be an excellent job. So at least we got placed to push all of those guys in the school in order for them to proceed positively. So it's an excellent job. I do agree with whatever you're saying here. It makes a lot of sense.
And another reason why I feel like having the associate's degree be free is because once you know that you can, you know that you don't have to pay for the those first 2 years of school, and you know that you can actually achieve attaining that degree, that'll push you even more to wanting to get that that bachelor's degree. But once you see that you cannot afford that 2-year degree, you give up. Like, you have no other choice. It's either work or go to school. You get discouraged.
That's a very good point. You have to say you're absolutely right, and I agree with you. But then that's why there are scholarships out there. I mean, nowadays we even have scholarships for those who do not have documents. There are scholarships out there for people who are here and do not have documents. And if you already show them that you had the willingness to further your education by attending the 2-year program that was already available to you for free, then I guess that's more of a reason why you'll be more eligible to get these scholarships to go to school and finish your education. So I guess it's very good to at least start, because that shows that you have the intention, you have the willingness, you have the courage to do so. And once you do that, anything is possible. I mean, you could have job opportunities like he did with his 2 years degree, or you can even have opportunities to get your